Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to bring you a video about repotting my new Darlingtonia, otherwise known as the Cobra Lily, that I just unboxed yesterday, which you should check out my unboxing video after this. But today I'm going to be repotting it and also explaining and showcasing my setup for this plant, because a lot of people struggle to grow these plants, but I'm going to see what I can do with this guy. Yeah, so I'm going to be explaining my setup for it, and also I'm going to be repotting it, because even though I just unboxed it yesterday and it's already came potted, I want to get it potted into a bigger pot, and there are a few reasons for that, because Cobra Lilies like to keep their roots cool, and because of that, it can be kind of hard to grow, because like, how are you going to keep the plant in full sun without cooking the pots, cooking the soil, right? Because that can be tricky, because these plants do like full sun, but they also have to be like, the roots have to be kept cool. And one thing you can do is oversized potting. As you can see, I've got this big pot right here. I believe it's about like, I can't see the label anymore, but like about 7-inch tall, 5-inch wide. And oversized potting is good, because a big pot would not overheat as quickly as a tiny little pot like this. And even though I just received it, and I know it's not generally the best to repot plants as soon as you get it, I think I'll be fine. I'll just take out this whole sphagnum plug and just stick it in there. Okay, so that's going to be doing today. So as you can see, I have my soil mixed up in here. It's just my peat perlite mix that I mixed up. I have a video showing how to make this mix if you want, which you can also go check out after this. But yeah, so also something I like to do, I don't always do this, like if like the smaller pots I keep my Venus flytraps in, they don't have as many drainage holes, and because of that I don't normally do this. But this pot, as you can see, there's a lot of drainage holes, which is good because these plants love drainage, but that also means that a lot of the soil can just fall out through the bottom. And to fix that, I like to just get something. I just use paper towel and just put it on the bottom like this, just to plug up those drainage holes. So yeah, you can also use long fiber sphagnum moss to put on the bottom if you want, which I would normally do that, but I don't have any long fiber sphagnum moss on me currently, so I'm just going to use paper towel. So yeah, so just do that, and this step's optional, but I just like it so the soil doesn't leak out through the bottom, through the drainage holes. So then you just fill the bottom up, and you want to pack it down pretty good in there, that way the paper towel has good contact, or whatever you're using on the bottom has good contact with the drainage holes. And even if you're not doing anything for the bottom, I'd still recommend packing it in there pretty well. Or don't make it like a brick in there, but definitely pack it pretty well, so that way the so it won't like settle in, because if you don't pack this down too much, like if you don't pack it down enough, then it's just all gonna sink down eventually, especially if you keep it in the rain and stuff. Alright, I'm gonna do this for now. Fill the rest of it up later. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna set your thing to the side, and now you're gonna take your plant. If you just received it like me, you're just gonna be really gentle not to disturb too many of these roots. In fact, what I might actually do, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take a chopstick like this, so you can tell I've used this for planting in the past. It's kind of got dirt on it, but what I'm actually gonna do is, I really don't want to disturb these roots too much. I'm just gonna try to like poke it out through the bottom, kind of. Try to get it out that way. And there we go, it's definitely out right there. So said, I'm gonna try not to disturb this too much. I probably actually put a little bit too much soil on the bottom. I have to take some of that out. Alright, normally you would want to break this up, but I'm not gonna break it up too much. As you can see, kind of the bottom of the soil kind of just fell off right there. That's okay. I try not to disturb the roots, so you can't even really see the roots, but I was gonna try to just pull away some of this sphagnum. As you can see, there's the kind of the rhizome. Actually, that's really interesting. Really try your best, especially when you're working with sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss can be really tricky to get rid of off the roots sometimes, so just take your time. But if you're working with peat moss, it's gonna be a lot easier. And I don't really like mixing sphagnum moss with peat moss, and I know I just said I put sphagnum moss on the bottom of your pots, but I mean, I don't like mixing it within the soil. Like a bottom layer on the bottom is fine, but I mean, yeah, that's all I'm gonna remove. I don't want to stock it too much. So I'm just gonna place it in there. And just fill the soil around it. Hey, these pots are really nice. They're very nice and sturdy, and like very sturdy plastic, and they're also nice and tall to give the plants a lot of room to grow. And it's specifically for Cobra Lilies. Cobra Lilies, like I said, they like to keep their roots cool. And because of that, I recommend planting them in white colored planters like this. Because if you plant it in a darker colored planter, that's just going to absorb all the heat and then your plant's going to die. So for like Venus flytraps and stuff, Venus flytraps Sarracenia, the color of the pot you use doesn't matter too much. But for Cobra Lilies, I recommend only using white pots to minimize the amount of soil to minimize the amount of heat the pot absorbs. So there we go, now he's nice and repotted. I could even stick this on the top if I wanted to. The sphagnum moss, but I'm not going to. Yeah, so that's pretty much it actually for this repotting. Yes, that's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty good. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the soil that they use. I just wanted to get it in a bigger pot. Don't risk it overheating. And I know it's winter, but at the same time, the best time to repot any temperate carnivorous plant is during dormancy time when they're not growing. That way you don't really disturb them. So that's looking pretty good. Then the last step would be to water this in with some nice distilled water, purified water. Make sure it's cold water. You don't want to use hot water and then kill your plant like that. This water's just a little bit warmer than I like, actually. Alright guys, I'm back. Just went and refrigerated, literally just stuck my watering can in the fridge. Because the water was getting a little bit warm, probably because it's a black watering can and it was in the sun. And even though I probably didn't need that, the plant probably would have been fine. Like, I'm not playing any games with this plant, like I really want this plant to do well for me. It's a precious plant. So, I just went and refrigerated the water to make it colder. And yes, I know it's winter, so it's probably a little bit overkill, but yeah, like I said, I'm not risking anything with this plant. I really am not. And so just give it a nice drink. The reason why you want to do that is because to make sure all the soil down in this pot like settles well. Because you don't want any air pockets or gaps in the soil at all. So just give it a nice drink, and also, you know, I mean, the water helps with the transplant shock and stuff. Yeah. So there we go, it's now nice and watered. Water might leak out the bottom, but it looks like it hasn't yet. So that's pretty good. So now that we've got it potted up and stuff, it is ready to start growing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys off the tripod actually and show you what my growth setup is for this plant. Alright guys, I'm back, and as you can see, this is my setup for this plant. It looks kind of weird, but like I said earlier in the video, Cobra Lilies like to keep their roots cool, and I saw this video on California Carnivores' YouTube channel, because I was trying to learn how to take care of these plants, and I watched this video from California Carnivores, and how they were recommending growing their Cobra Lilies actually in a styrofoam cooler. So I've got one here. Yeah, in the video, their plants are looking pretty healthy, so I figured why not just give it a shot. So I got this, like I said, I got this cooler here. This is, just got this from the grocery store for like $10. And yeah, so as you can see, I just have the plant just like snuggled in there. And yeah, I hope this should keep it cool. And I've got the rocks down here to like, as like a reservoir. Also to like, and probably like, and on hot days I could probably like pour water in around it to try to, and it might create more like a humidity thing in here. I don't know. But in the video from California Carnivores, they just had the cooler filled with soil, and the plants were growing in it, which I didn't do that because, I mean, this tiny little plant doesn't need this whole thing full of soil. And once the plants do get big, like mature, they could probably use a pot this big, no problem. Although, if I fill this whole thing up with soil, it's just gonna cost me a lot of soil. So I just have smaller pots in here. I have another pot right here. Not a plant in it yet. Yeah, so I do have just gigantic cooler for this tiny little plant, but in the future, if this does grow for me, it will divide, and I will have multiple Cobra plants that will grow in here. So, yeah, that's my setup. And like I said, in hot days, which isn't hot right now, but just as an example, I could like, you know, just pour water around it. That would likely help. So that is my setup. It's pretty cheap. And also, one thing is, if you're gonna try to do this, make sure you rinse the rocks out before you do this, because if not, then it can leach minerals and stuff in it, which you don't exactly want to do. But shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, so that's my setup. This is more of an experimental setup, so like, don't criticize me or anything on this if I'm not doing this right or whatever. But this is more of an experimental thing, because like I said, this is my first Cobra plant I've ever owned, and I'm gonna try to do my best for this guy. And so yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.